Let's go. Welcome to Talking Trophies. I'm Rayvo. Damien's not here today, so I'll be taking the podcast. And today we got a special guest. He's a good friend of mine, Hashim.
It's been a long time coming, wallah. What's been happening?
Nothing much, man. It's been a while since I've seen you last, man.
Ages,
I remember,
man.
So if you don't know, or not many people know, but before I started Talking Trophies, I was trying to get the audio set up, all the microphones, and then me and Hashim went on a little road trip. Major road trip. We went all the way to like Dandenong. And I had like a little quote of ideas I wanted to get. Went to some stereo shop. I can't remember the name. On the way there, went up to the tires, bro.
All four tires blew out.
All four tires blew out on the way there. We were in a sitch. It was meant to be a 40 to an hour minute trip. Ended up taking, 3 hours?
How did it blow out?
I don't know. Like, I think I don't know what happened. I was on a freeway and I must have, I honestly don't know. I drove over, you know those speed humps with the little light, hazard lights on the road? I drove into one of them and I didn't even notice it, but I heard something. As soon as we got off that exit, right, all I hear is I was like, oh snap, maybe it's one tire. We get out the car, all four tires gone. Boom.
That was a proper sitcho, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if that was a sign from above, maybe telling me, hey, Talking Trophy thing didn't work. But, we had to go ahead with it.
Yeah.
But,
You didn't remember to sign because you might have accelerated on you, right? So
yeah, maybe protect us.
Yeah, true
God's
that. Maybe
God's the
saved
best
from
planners at the end of the day.
Something worse could have happened.
Yeah, but before we get into the video, make sure you like, subscribe, and comment. Make sure to subscribe to the video. Show your support. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. If you've been watching us for a while and you're enjoying our journey, chuck us that like, and you keep motivating us. But we'll get into the video. Hashim, man, it's been ages, man. Off air, I haven't seen you in a while, bro. You've been busy, and I see you doing a lot of projects too. Doing the construction, bro. You've been working hard.
Yeah, man.
I see you sometimes, I'll be out at 4 a.m. I'll see you going to work, running. You're wearing the high vest jacket. You're running there.
Yeah.
So, tell us, bro. What have you been up to, man?
When was the last time we actually spoke?
I saw you at the car park down in North, but besides that,
it's been a minute anyway.
Yeah.
Look, man, I apologize for that, but I have been doing a lot. There's about 5 projects that I'm kind of part of. You know what I mean?
It's nice, man.
Yeah, so plus that, plus still uni going on. And like you said, construction, just our full-time job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That full-time life's pretty hard, man. You stop seeing people. It's just hard to get things. You're just juggling so many things at once. Tell us, what do you do with construction, man?
Man, I do all sorts of stuff. The company I work for, we mainly do roads, maintenance works on underground pipes, and sometimes resurfacing, asphalting. You know what I mean? So we do all different types of construction.
This guy's on that.
But it's more on the roads and that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's hands-on, man.
It is.
It takes time. Does it take a physical effect? Does it have a physical impact on you? Do you feel it physically, or is it just because you're using machinery, so you're just
you do get tired, and you don't always get the chance to be on machines. There's many times where you actually have to labor.
Yeah. You
know what I mean? So there is the physicality is a bit intense. I wouldn't say it's too intense, but the consistency is what really burns people. You know what I mean? In construction, you get a lot of turnaround, and it's all because some people will come up 6 months probation, and then after that, you might not see those people again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
it's
mainly the consistency that gets to you.
But I feel like that's every job, bro. It's
exactly
at the start, you're motivated, you're keen to do the work, and then 2-3 months in, you're just I just can't do it anymore. You just can't get out of bed. The alarm, you got 10 alarm clocks to wake you up.
Yeah.
That's when it's maybe this is not for me, But once you put your mind to it, and you just if you know this is something I want to do. For example, you've been doing it for a couple of years now, more than a couple of years.
Yeah, yeah.
So it seems like you're enjoying it and you're liking what you do.
Man, a full-time job in general teaches you a lot.
Yeah.
And like I said again, it's that consistency. You know, and once you, I remember when I first started that, I was speaking to one of my good friends, because he's been doing it a lot longer than me. And I called him up and I was like, bro, you doing these 6-7 days often? Why? And better yet, what do you tell people when they ask you why? Because I didn't know what to tell people. The money's pretty, like, alhamdulillah, the money's pretty good regardless. But why would you go take that extra weekend or come in on those public holidays and that? And he goes, Hashim, being so consistent, it became a routine. And I fell in love with the routine. And that's just it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if you come down to a level like that, things do start to get easier, how you take it mentally as well.
Yeah, it's a
You know,
mental
it
thing.
does. Yeah, it takes a toll on you.
I remember when we were younger, remember when everyone was doing warehouse? How long did someone last in the warehouse? Remember the boys would be getting
A
warehouse jobs?
weekend, yeah.
2 months max, 3
Yeah.
months, and they're out.
Not
You know what I
even
mean?
months. I don't remember anybody doing a month, man.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
never
think
did. I never did warehouse.
Yeah.
Bro. The thing is, I knew warehouse wasn't for me. Remember when I was like,
Yeah.
I remember everyone was getting the warehouse jobs. I'm like, yo, this is not for me.
Oh,
bro.
man, but you missed out on the classes
know,
to get the licenses.
Was that the one where
You
did
can
with
never
the
get those
agencies?
times back.
The
Yeah.
agent- bro, I'm
Yeah.
like these stories. That's crazy.
Because we had to do like 2 months. 2 months of like training. Just, you know what I mean? Oh, I suffer. I think it was a month.
Peak packaging.
And every day you're with these boys. And like, I don't know, it was good times.
Training for warehouse, man.
But
I think it was when they started. They did it with the
there was
agency.
some weird certificate of management.
Yeah,
Certificate
yeah.
of warehouse management.
Brother. They did all that warehouse training, and then when they get to the job, it's like, all right, just close these boxes, pick them up, and put them over there. And these guys, they're like, what? We did all this paperwork for what, man? But
Yeah.
on that, man, you do also. This is something I'd say is it's not usual. It's not the usual. You know, you're studying right now. You're doing natural medicines.
Yeah.
This is something I remember when you even told me. I'm
I
like,
deferred.
you deferred for now.
Yeah, I deferred.
But what got you? Me I remember when you told me about it. I looked at you. I'm like, straight away. You know what I said, Kaz? I said, brothers, Hope was
yeah.
gonna go get some leaves, brother. Chuck it in
Yeah.
a thing, and I was like, yo, Hashim, what's that? And then we'll go into it. Tell me a little bit about that too.
The thing is, like, you know, when you're straight out of high school, you really, most cases, a lot of people don't even know what they would really want to do, or they might know what they want to do, but they don't really see it for how it is. It's more like a dream. So there's so many difficulties coming straight out of high school, going into uni and everything. I think I was doing psychology at first for the first year, and I just kept on jumping from courses to courses in 4 years. You know what I mean? And then I really didn't even know what the issue was. But the last course I think I was doing was economics and finance or something.
Oh, I remember because I was doing it. And
You
you
were doing it. And anyways, so I was mad interested in that. And while I was studying it, I'm pretty sure it was at Swinburne or something. But anyways, my cousin came up to me and he goes, Hashim, you know you can get these books. Just type the book's name in Google and be like, free PDF at the end of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? As soon as I started doing that, to be honest, I actually started acing my classes. Then I went into all that hocus pocus of like the debt, this, that. So then really, I just left uni because I felt like I didn't need a certificate to run a business or to get money. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure,
So-
for sure. I feel like even us, like I remember me, man, when I was coming out too, I had that. I did my first degree and I finished it. I came out I was 17 years old, bro. I finished year 12.
Yeah, you started early, huh?
And I started early, and I seen it happening. All my friends around me I remember everyone was just jumping in.
Yeah.
And I was just doing my course. I'm like,
Yeah.
and because you know why? Because my dad told me, he said, when
Yeah.
you start something, it's just the weird tradition we have in our family. It's like, when you start something, you have to finish it.
Yeah.
It's like even this, like talking trophies. Like I started it, and I'm like, after season 1, I'm like, yeah, I had a bit of fun. But then it's just like that little subconscious just telling me, you got to keep going. You know what I mean? That little kick is just-
consistency.
It's just like, keep going. Don't
Yeah.
stop. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I feel like I see what you mean by
Yeah,
it.
so that's the thing. Like, I was jumping from course to course. Like, I had to do it. There was this necessity. And, you know, culturally how we are, our parents,
Yeah.
they want a degree. It does bring safety and everything. But once I started working and I actually found out I was reading more and more books on my ones, you know? And then after I got pretty much everything I kind of wanted, and I could have invested in more projects and stuff like that, I just thought about it. I found out about natural medicine on YouTube, and I just never knew there was a course for that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you wonder, like, people, we call it badia in Somalia, yeah? People from like the outskirts, not in the main city back home. All right. People on the outskirts, they have limited resources for many things, right? Yeah. So I used to ask my mom, how do people deliver babies? How do they get something like C-section? If someone's in pain, where do they get the anesthetics from? Yeah. And I was told that, like, they know their surroundings, they know what's healing, what plant is for what, and you know what I mean. That's
like 1,000 year. That's a 1,000 year thing. It's just passed on tradition.
Exactly, and many cultures have this. So I was always intrigued about that. You know, being a nature boy and everything. And yeah, man, I found out that they have an actual course for that. Yeah. So I was like, why not try it out?
Are you gonna finish it off, or are you gonna go ahead with it?
Yeah, of course. I'm not really strict on the time when it comes to that, but it's something I like. I'd love to learn about. Yeah. You know.
Quick story, just to add on what we said about the we call them, we say people in the countryside, people in cities.
Is that what you guys call it?
People from the out.
Yeah.
And then my dad one day, our grandfather, he was like a rich man in the area, you know. He was school, had a villa, and my dad got really sick one day, and like his grandfather took him to all the doctors in the city, you know. Yeah. And these guys were from graduate overseas, everything. They had no idea what my dad was sick with. They couldn't solve it at all. And then someone they told him there's a healer outside in the countryside.
That voodoo.
My dad said my grandpa carried him, took him to some outskirt like road, and there's like a barn, like a farmhouse, and there's a guy there. My dad told him this guy's some bushman, you know, no education, nothing, bro. He's got a little farm for animals and he's got a family.
Right.
And the guy came and saw my dad, and my dad is listening, like he's really faint, he can't really stand. He grabbed my dad's arm, told him, I know exactly what your son has, bro. He took him to a barn, he hit up like a needle, he made cuts on his arm, small cuts, and then I don't know what he did, put something on it, and then my dad started telling me all this black stuff started coming out of his blood. He was poisoning, he had blood poisoning, you know?
Oh, okay.
And he goes to me straight away, in 20 minutes, he felt back, energized, everything after days of being sick, you know? So I feel like there's secrets.
Yeah.
Western medicine has like caused us to like lose all these natural things that we know culturally and stuff.
Exactly.
I think even I believe that it's like, because it's man-made, you know what I mean? Like, if you think about it, in the day, we're natural. We're connected. Like, for thousands until the Industrial Revolution, we were like connected to the earth. Do you know what I mean? And there's definitely
that's where pharmacies actually came from. Like, I don't know if it's the Rothschild, or I don't really want to get into that conspiracy stuff.
Let's fact check him.
Go
check fact check.
No. Check it out.
What is it?
Like, how pharmacies actually started, like, as like laboratories. It was warehouses, man. Like, what they did is every village doctor, like in America, right? They locked them up so people don't get any help. When people started to really get sick, when you are in need, what do you go for? Anything.
We might get that conspiracy theory check on us.
Fact check it if you want.
How did pharmacy company start?
Yeah. Check it out.
19th century.
Yeah.
Chemical companies that established research labs and discovered medical applications for their products.
Yeah, definitely.
It
works, but like, it works, to be honest. But at the same time, it's just
I was never a fan, man.
You know
I never liked.
I'm definitely thinking like, bro, when I get sick.
Was used as a sedative hypnotic.
Oh, no way.
I don't know. That thing's like for controlling minds or something like that.
I'll tell you this. So basically, I remember reading it ages ago. They locked up all the actual healers. They weren't really called doctors. They were called healers. All right, that knew these things. Once they locked them all up, people really started to get sick and whatever, and they started mass producing basic pills. You know what I mean? And people obviously would go for it because they are in need. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then it started from there.
Maybe that's a marketing strategy. I don't know. But
of course.
Let us know if you know the real reason for pharmaceutical, the introduction of the pharmaceutical industry, and let us know what you think in the comment section. But
it was also the hate I had for, like, man, Damitab, liquid medicine.
I don't know. I wasn't, bro. Man. To be honest with me, I get sick. The first thing I do, bro, is I'll have like ginger. Like when I get like a cold or something,
Yeah.
I don't think I'll
Mum's
get ginger,
medicine.
honey, lemon.
Yeah.
I'll have that.
Yeah.
I'll get ginger. Yeah. Black seed.
Yeah.
That's like my favorite thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, just have that.
And it helps.
Just natural stuff. 2-3 days later, I'm fine. You know, but sometimes I do like definitely. I take vitamins too,
Yeah.
just for like supplements and stuff. You need that bonus.
Of course,
extras,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, we're lacking
But,
on that. Yeah.
Let's so that's what got you into natural medicines, man. That's crazy, but
Yeah.
that's interesting.
Yeah.
Anyways, you wanna jump into the first topic?
Projects and that.
Yeah, let us know about your projects a bit too. The
there's some I can't really speak on.
the ones you have now that are at least.
The ones that well, you know about the flower one.
Yeah.
I'll put that up on social media. I don't know why. I was getting new to them reels and stuff. But
Yeah.
when the business is, when you come up with an idea and it's real now. You know how you get excited. You know what I mean? Like when you guys are doing talking trophies and that. By the time you guys got all the cameras and you did your first set, how like psyched up were you? Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
So
Especially when you talked it up and it came to life, you know.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So we went through that moment, and I actually put that reel up on my Instagram. But they're mainly all startups, besides the flower one. That one's still fairly new, but all the other ones and everything, like the papers are down pat, and we're ready to run.
Yeah.
But in this game, doing projects and managing so much, you gotta be patient, man. You know what I mean? You can't push, because the quicker you push like that and force things, the quicker you come down.
Yeah, everything
So,
has its time, man. To
yeah,
be honest, everything, there's always the perfect timing for something, but at the same
Yeah.
time, you don't want to be a perfectionist.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Me, one thing I always tell you, Hashim, I always say to you, I'm like, Hashim, you overthink things sometimes.
Yeah.
Like you just, it's always like, okay, is it perfect? Because you're a perfectionist at
Yeah.
heart.
If I
That's
can
the
make it better, why not go for it? You know?
Yeah, but at the same time, sometimes like with that, you miss the opportunity. Like me, I'm a perfectionist, but at the same time, I'm like, maybe just go for it. Like talking trophies at the start. If you look at our first videos, go to our first videos, you'll see like there's issues with the audio,
Yeah.
the camera angles don't all work, this that. But you know why? It's like the thing is why I left it there is because people, at least you can see your progression. Like right now, if I watch like our latest video in comparison to our first video,
Yeah.
it's like, okay, damn, we actually moved that far. Like we progressed that much, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So with that, bro, I'd say like with the startups, do you feel like
Yeah.
it's just not perfect, or what do you feel?
No. I mean, the way like I like to go about it is you set up your like the lowest type of achievement you can actually conquer, overcome,
Yeah.
right? Or you can achieve. Anything above that is just a bonus. If I try to force that, making things happen, it's just me trying things. As long as I do the basic primary things, and therefore, three of them, they're all actually up. Another one I could probably mention that a lot of people may like not really know about. It's still in the like build up. It's called Triumph Librum,
What's
and
that?
it's like an online ebook store. So
Like trying to hit the Amazon now.
I mean,
Amazon
it's
started.
not really Amazon, but like, I remember speaking to my younger cousins one time, right? And they wanted to, I don't know, the conversation started going pretty good, and they asked me questions like, I do want to read more books, but where do I get it from, or how can I get, I don't know what it was. I really can't remember, but they wanted to access more knowledge, right? And that's where the whole idea came from. If I can actually acquire some books, if I have to probably maybe even make $1 off it, if I could, whatever it is, but as long as they can access somebody's knowledge. So if, by the way, if anybody has a recommendation to a book or anything like that, just DM me or whatever, Hashim_AUS, and 9 times out of 10, if it's not in the library, we can hopefully get it in the library.
That's it.
But yeah, and the other ones I really can't speak of, or else the team might not be happy with that. And I don't want to ruin my chances or bad luck.
I always hear, man, people always recommend to me. I've never read it.
What?
I'm sure you've heard of it, 100%. The Power of Now, or The Power of
Yeah.
Now also how to win friends and influence people.
Yeah.
That's another book.
Yeah.
How to Win
I
Friends
haven't
and
read
Influence
that
People.
one.
That one, that book, I remember I used to had a mentor, and I used to meet up with him every like once a month. I'd meet up with him, and that was like the first book he told me about. But what he told me about that book was, he's like, it's a great book, but at the same time, take what's good from it, and because there's some parts in the book where like you feel it's like it's like methods to like in a way manipulate people. Do you know what I mean? It's like it creates an artificial friendship in a way with someone, and it's not unique. Like it's like, for example, it's like you'd be with your coworkers or with your team leaders, or you're meeting new people. It's not that like you just know how to get them to like you, and then from there it's like 6-7 months down the track you realize, okay, maybe this person like you know what I mean?
Yeah. Knowledge is power, man.
But
it just depends on how you use it
sure.
at the end of it. Yeah.
So how you're speaking about the business ideas. I reckon that will lead us to that. A good topic is financial freedom.
Financial freedom.
You know what I mean? What is it? What is financial freedom for you? You know what I mean? With you doing work, construction work, also doing the businesses, what's financial freedom for you? Because
just more time, man. Being able to, I heard someone say one time, like, time is the most expensive currency. You know, if I can have more time with my siblings, more time with my mom, more time with my friends, that's all I want to offer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So financial freedom means when I'm able to actually live amongst my means, I have all my security and safeties in check for the years to come, hopefully. And when all that is set up, that's my financial freedom, to gain more time.
So that's your idea of financial freedom.
That's my idea of financial freedom. Yep.
And what's the path to financial freedom for you in your eyes, in your own experience?
For me
like from your own
personally,
experience, what do you see? Like, how do you feel like you're gonna reach that? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I know you want to spend more time with your family. You know, have that time to yourself.
Yep.
What is it? What's that path? Do you know? Because everyone has their own method. I'd say definition of financial freedom.
There's many ways of getting there.
Yeah, and there's many paths to it. What's your one? What do you want your path to be to financial freedom?
It's not really a main path, you know what I mean? Like, you need money regardless. Like, that is the primary source to give you that financial freedom, right? So get it how you can, man. You know, respectfully, legally. So for me, I'm doing the full-time job and I'm running these projects. Hopefully when I get to a stage where, you know, I don't need to like work as often in a full-time joint, I'll be reaching it step by step. That financial freedom, you know what I mean?
Goal of financial freedom.
Yeah, and then the projects, and also like having safety and security, like a degree, man. You know what I mean? Something to fall back on, or anything like that. But everything I pretty much mentioned, hopefully that will get.
What about investments? You're a fan of investments, or?
Yeah, Sean, you wanna hear about a funny story? Remember that time where we were studying? What was that business course?
Business, yeah, I did bachelor of business.
Anyways, and you had that friend that was into stocks and he was trading.
Yeah.
Remember when you came up to me and you're like, "Fuck, man, cryptocurrency, Bitcoin's at 2,000." I remember when it was at like 20 cents or something. Do you remember that?
I told you about that.
Yeah, you told me.
Probably, yeah.
This guy was like, "Bro, it's at 2,000 now." And we thought that was a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's like, "Bro, like it went from 20 cents to 2,000."
And I was telling him like, "Yo, bro, this is the craziest thing ever."
Yeah.
What was this?
Bro, this is back 20. It was early. It was
14, 15.
Maybe even then. I think it was. It was after the.
I don't know.
So we had a little boom. Yeah, I remember. I know what you're talking about. I remember speaking with you about it.
Yeah. I still try it.
Yeah.
I don't do no day trading or anything.
Yeah.
But the crypto,
But in general, like investments, property. Do you think about like property investments, or do you think about just saving or investing in?
For now, man, it's really just saving. For now, it's just saving as much as I can and putting out as little as I can.
It's
I'm
crazy.
not-
I used to save, like, I was a heavy saver. I remember, like, I used to save a lot. Like,
Yeah.
I was stingy saving. Like, I used to have, like, money, as much money as I can in my bank account, whatever.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you a funny story. So one time, I was kicking it with the boys, yeah?
Mm.
And then I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go home. And I left my card. I lost my card. Somehow, some brassy in North Melbourne, I know who the brassy is too. They took my card. I woke up the next morning. I saw ANZ. You know how they have like the Eagle Falcon. They're like, your card is like negative. We blocked your card, and it was like negative $350. I woke up the next day tripping. I'm like, what the hell? Anyways, I called the bank. I'm like, yo, this wasn't me. It's clearly not a thing. Someone using my money, because it was overdraft, and I had money on top of it. So they probably took about like $800 at least from that like access account. You know what, the one that's connected to your card. And then I'm like, yo, this is crazy. Anyways, I still taxed that person. I taxed that person heavy. I got my money back, and I got money back from the bank.
Yeah.
But from that day, bro, I never like I have probably 3 months worth of savings to survive on my bank account.
Yeah.
The rest of my money is like it's scattered all over the place. Like I don't even know where to find my money.
Yeah, man.
Like it'll take me like a good 3 weeks, 4 weeks to like get every dollar I have that's scattered, every invested.
Budgeting is very
And you
important.
win, you lose some too. I feel like with investments, man. But that's the beauty of it too, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I reckon I want to see. I don't know. I want to see if you align with my idea of financial freedom. It is time too. I agree with you on that.
Yeah.
That idea of thing. But
I feel like you wanted another answer. Like
nah. I don't. I know your answer. That's the goal for everyone, man. Who doesn't want to spend time with their kids?
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Of course, if I have kids, hopefully I do, have a family and stuff. I want to spend time with them.
Yeah.
But at the same time, my idea of financial freedom is like multiple means of incomes, being able to donate money while you can, like having that money to, this cause comes up, someone back home needs that money. I'm like, yep, don't worry, I got you. That's my, running multiple businesses. I'm not running a few businesses. That's why one of my goals. I do want to run a business, and I feel like at the stage
these are like ways how you want to gain your financial freedom.
Gain my financial freedom, and in the end of the day, I feel like doing all those is gonna be how I reach that goal of getting that time. You know what I mean? In the end of the day, that utopia of spending time with your kids. That utopia. You know what I mean? Like of being able to sit down with your kids, watch them grow up. Being able to attend the soccer matches on the weekend, even coach your, like for example, like coaching. When I watch Kobe coaching his daughter's basketball team, I'm like, bro, and he's retired and he's spending all that time like making these like 12-year-old girls into like state champions. I'm like, yo, that's financial freedom because he did his work. He's got the income, he's got his money, he's got his investments. Although he passed away at that time, unfortunately, but he had that, that's the idea of financial freedom, like that utopia of being able to spend time with your kids. But also the utopia of being able to, I feel like my goal of financial freedom is when the opportunity does come, I'm those guys that are able to like just jump on it. Do you know what I mean? Like let's just say you come to me with a business idea. I'm like, perfect. I have that financial freedom. I'm already running a couple businesses and have, my investments and stuff. And I'm like, you have that business idea. Like obviously this is something when we're older. But you're like, I'll have this business I want to run. I'm like, okay, sweet. Run me your portfolio. What's your goals? This, that. How can we achieve it? That's for me is financial freedom. So with that, that's like my idea of it, and having that utopia of being able to give people those opportunities to start things up. You know what I mean? Having my hands everywhere. Like not everywhere, but like in a controllable, like a controllable amount. You know what I mean? Where I'm able to like invest, provide support. You know what I mean? So that's my idea of financial freedom.
I mean, my idea of financial freedom is I saw like in a 50 post. This guy's funny Instagram, but he has some, decent stuff. He goes, "You're rich when you're doing nothing and making money." You know what I mean? And I think it's what you guys both said. It's like having multiple streams of income. And then having that, what do you do with that? You know what I mean? And I think it's what you said too, bro. I feel like spending all that time you can with those ones you love the most.
Definitely. Oh, you're talking about like when he said people got mad when I like got off the show. 50.
That show, and he even said to, like, he said, I'm not rich. Like, people say, oh, you're rich now, you got money. Like, I'm not rich until I don't call myself rich, until I'm doing nothing. I'm sitting down.
Yeah.
Money just coming to me.
But
Yeah.
that idea, the thing is, you see me, I'm not chasing with that. The thing is, the only thing I disagree with that is I'm not chasing wealth. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, when I die, I know I'm not gonna like have nothing, and I'm not those guys that like wanna have all my kids like before I die, all my kids have houses and stuff like that. You know, that's not. There's nothing after 100 years. My kids are gonna die. You know what I mean? What? So their kids can have a house. They're not gonna like. It's not gonna benefit no one. Like, it's not gonna benefit me. It's not gonna benefit my legacy. And I feel like legacy is something we'll talk about later. Do you know? That idea of having all that money, let the money come for me. It's not really the beauty of it. I feel like is working for your money. You know, there's a blessing in work.
I mean, the struggle in it's the pain of not spending time with the family because you have to do things to, you know what I mean, to bring food to the table and stuff.
Yeah.
It makes you appreciate the time you have with them more.
Definitely. Yeah.
So I feel like it's part of this whole package, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, because what we're looking for is like, it's called generational wealth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I have a pizza shop under my family name, and then when I leave,
Yeah.
when I pass away, and then my kids, and then it's always gonna be passed down within the family. It's you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's our family business.
Mm.
Or if I have multiple streams of income, you know what I mean? And it's all within the family. That's called generational wealth.
Yeah. Generational wealth, man. I feel like it's so like advertised. It's so pushed. You know, everyone has this idea. I need generational wealth, but like I feel like it's not necessary in life. Of course, you want your kids to be set off. You want your grandchildren to be set, but like there's more to life than that. You know what I mean? Of course, I don't want my kids in the street starving, but at the same time, I want them to like be able to work, grind, have that appreciation of working for their money, working and investing, and increasing that wealth, obviously. But at the same time, not losing that idea of, there is a blessings from what my parents have given me.
It's the elephant in the room, man.
Mm.
You want to make money and like provide security and safety for your family. There is gonna be that risk. There's maybe one of them or two of, or maybe all of them, God forbid, like they use their money in the wrong way, or it's you teach them the right values. You teach them, you are actively there with them and you spend time with them, and they may actually use their money for more charity organizations.
Definitely.
They can change
You might motivate
a
them.
whole nation.
You might motivate them to think.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just you got that ball rolling. So
Exactly.
Once that
It's the
happens,
risk of power.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I wanna jump over to the next topic. The ability to say no. I feel like that's something,
The
I
ability
view
to say no.
Yeah.
Yeah. We gotta be specific on that one. I don't want to controversial.
Nah, from your experiences and what you want to speak about, and at the end of the day, you know what I mean?
That's a really good topic.
Mm.
To be completely specific, I think in regards for yourself, you know what I mean, with every individual. See, in construction, maybe you can fact check it, Sean.
Yeah, go on Google and search it, whatever you want to fact check.
Most of the death toll is from younger blokes.
Mm.
And you will hear this almost in every pre-start, toolbox meeting in the mornings. And the reason for that is a rushing supervisor, leading hand, or whoever they may be, will tell the young apprentice or young worker or whatever, and they'll be like, just get this done, or I'm in a rush, or go do a job with a shovel where you actually need an excavator to do, and he can hurt his back. But the younger guys don't really give themselves the power to say no. They lack the ability to say no.
Because they don't want to get on the bad side of the supervisor.
And that's where most injuries come from. So I want to be specific, the ability to say no within in the workforce, and the ability to say no within yourself.
It is a skill.
Exactly, and we
Like
all need to adapt that. Like I was watching your last podcast with your cousin Ahmed, and I like that podcast, man.
Yeah.
And there was one point where I think you asked something to do with something along the lines where it's like, what is a man? in one word or something like that. And he said responsibilities, you know, and I heard that loud and clear, and that statement could not be any truer. And basically, like, we all have two sides of ourselves, you know. You're going to gym, you're working out, and the point of quitting, sometimes you gotta push yourself through it. You gotta say no to yourself. Your body wants to rest and, you know, just slack off. You gotta go for that extra rep, depending on the type of workout you're doing. You know what I mean? If you're boxing and you are in the ring, the moment the bell goes, you can't be like, yo, I'm running out this ring, because you will regret it. So in order to reach your goals in that, sometimes you have to say no to yourself. And also, if your environment is pretty tough, you know, and it doesn't align with anything good, you have to say no for the greater good. You have to say no for yourself. You know what I mean? Because if you are not saying no and you are finding it hard to say no, you're technically saying no to someone else. The ones that care for you, the ones that love you and are there, like, trying their best to help you out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're technically saying no to them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
I feel like that's a really good topic, man, the ability to say no. But
I reckon we should. I feel like it'll be probably more relatable to our viewers. We'll dangle on for the personal one.
the
Do you know
person.
the personal one. So
Right.
personal ability to say no.
Yeah.
Do you know?
Yeah.
For example, it's like, let's just say you're going through you're working on something hard, and let's just say you're working on an assignment or you're working on a project.
Yep.
And it's just getting hard.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
Being able to say no in that circumstance to yourself, saying, hey, nah, I'm not quitting this time. I'm not stopping this time. That ability is something, it's a skill, true or not, Hashim?
100%.
And how do you feel like,
Only a skill, I'd say. It's also a skill you have to develop as well.
you have to develop it, definitely. Even, it's like this, I'll give you an example. Your friends aren't doing as good as they want to be in life. You know, like, for example, your friends aren't where you want to be. You're in a group of friends that you feel like are not motivating you to be the best person you can be. You know, and I'm telling you, people think, let's just say if you're in a bad friendship group, it's hard to leave that group. It's like people like, just stop hanging out and just say no, you don't want to come outside today. But it's not that. When you develop that a bit, like that time.
They'll tell you, it's hard. I can't do that.
Yeah,
You
it's
know what I
hard.
mean?
I can't.
Instead of picking up the phone call, like some people will be like, I won't even pick it up because I know what he wants and I know I want to say no, but I won't be able to say no.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So
And the thing
they'd
is,
rather
I
run.
feel like even me, I have circumstances with this, and people like me. Some people like say to me, you know, I respect that about you, and some people like they just don't like who I am. They don't like me as a person. I could tell they just don't like me, and I'm like, I'm cool with that. End of the day, I'm not like out here trying to please everyone. I'm not trying to please the world, but they hate the fact how direct I am. Especially like there's times where, like, let's just say I'm booked out, you know, or I'm really just exhausted. I can't do something for them. A lot of people in the area, let's just say someone older comes to you and says to you, hey, can you do this for me? People say to them, yeah, I'll do it for you. And then when the time comes, when they have to give them like what they pull through with what they have to do, what do they say? Oh, sorry, I couldn't come through in the last minute. Or would you rather be able to be like, hey, sorry, look, I'm unable to do this for you. I'm busy. I'm booked out. I have this on. Do you know?
Yeah.
And look, some people will be like, you know what? I respect you for saying that. And some people, you know what, they'll be like, some people, I feel like it's a selfish thing. It's like, this guy, why is he saying no to you? And then they start disliking you in a way, you know?
Yeah.
And the thing is, that skill, being able to say no is a skill, because some people are going to like you and appreciate you for having that skill.
Yeah.
Some people are going to dislike you because they're not aware of that skill.
Yeah, man. Like, honestly, like, I don't want to be like getting too deep, but like, life is a test, right? It's suffering and it's chaos. We have to voluntarily accept it. And how do we do that? We gotta like constantly try. And then even when that stops working at one point, it's like maybe come back to the drawing board, try again, and keep going. They say like if if you really want to take care of yourself and actually like grow up and go through whatever you need to go through and actually come out on a good side of the spectrum, do it as if you are taking care of someone that you do love. You know what I mean? Because if you're doing it that way, you're not really sitting around and procrastinating and saying yes to everything. You wouldn't tell your little brother if you see some of his friends or maybe one of his friends is actually not the right influence or anything. You wouldn't sit there and just constantly be thinking about like, I should tell him, ease up. I should tell him, don't be coming home too late if you ain't got nothing to do. You know what I mean? You'd actually go and do it. Does that make sense? So
that's on yourself too. So
exactly.
Like
Right.
When you are with your friends, you are too late, or you're caught up in the wrong crowd.
Yeah, and
saying
that's
as if it's like you're looking out for your little brother, but that's yourself. In a way, have that care you have for your little brother.
That's what they say. Like when guys are, somebody said it. I can't remember, but to really be a good soldier, you gotta you gotta have the thought process of like, I'm gonna do it for my next comrade, or you know what I mean. And when you do that, then only then you can actually jump in front of a grenade, and probably save 10 people. Maybe, you know what I mean. But we need this monstrous quality, man, to even fight our own demons, to even fight our weaker self.
Yeah.
Because like I said, man, it's a test, and it's constant suffering and chaos, and you need to, like we said before, you need to be useful. You know what I mean? Within yourself, you need to be useful for anybody else. I think, maybe you can fact check this one, right? I think we are the only mammal, like animals, as human beings, who when we hit the floor, we don't get up and start walking. I think every animal starts walking. You know what I mean? I want that fact check because someone randomly said it one time. Yeah, someone randomly said it, and I was like, yo, that's deep. Yeah, so.
What does it say? Imagine it's like elephants or the one.
Yeah, you're right. Human infants take a very long time learning how to walk.
Exactly, meaning we need each other to.
Animals only hours after they're born, but humans need a year at least before they do walk.
So, thanks for that.
Hashim came through with that quality.
Someone randomly said it. You know what I mean? And I was like, that's deep. So, anyways, but that's exactly my point. We need each other. We need to help each other. But if I'm off, whatever, and I'm weak at this moment, my state of mind is not correct. You know what I mean? And I'm doing this to myself constantly. Then if my mother calls me, says like I need help in doing this as soon as possible, or my sister calls me, my brother calls me, or my friend calls me, someone needs me at that moment, I won't be able to help him. Like, does that make sense? So we need to like be useful for ourselves. You know what I mean? Instead of being useless, we need to adapt those responsibilities to be a man or woman, or anyways, to say no in those circumstances where you feel like, okay, this is gonna. Yeah, you need to develop this. What I'm talking about is this monster that you have, right? Yeah. We can't all be naive. You know what I mean? And hide in our little corners and actually run away from a fight, because then life will just swallow us all up. You know what I mean? So you need to wake up in the morning. You need to make your bed. Go to the bathroom, do your skincare routine, do whatever you actually need to do. Eat good breakfast, smile at people. A lot of the younger boys tell me, like, when they see me in construction uniform and stuff, and they'll be like, Hashim, it's like a big thing for them, even having a full-time job and stuff, right? And I don't want to forget this, but basically, they think you need to do heaps of stuff to start something, like a full-time job or like anything. They think it's because it's beyond what they have like ever seen in reality. It's more of a dream, you know what I mean? And they've been thinking about it in motivational videos and blah blah blah. But when you tell them, like, I just did this course, I got these tickets and licenses, and I got the job, they won't see it that simple. You know what I mean? So back to the topic. Sorry.
But look at staying on that. How you got the construction job? Because you did apply that skill of being able to say no. Because I remember, because we used to kick it. Like, I'll see you kicking in the area. You kick it with us. But then there was a time where I wouldn't see you for like a month, 2 months.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that ability for you to even, like, for example, you say, okay, listen, I need to focus on myself. I know right now if I do spend this time or my energy right now on just hanging out in the area or whatever, or being with these friends or just kicking back, let's go for a feed, this, that, constantly, I'm not going to get to where I want. And that's, if you didn't have that ability to say no and take that time saying, okay, listen, I'm going to push, not cut everyone off, but just take that time where I'm going to have that self time. I'm not going to be here today. Sorry for this next month. Sorry, boys. I'm a bit busy.
Yeah.
That ability, you said that, gave you that opportunity to go do that course. Go do that.
Right.
Get that job.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And be able to work full time.
Yeah.
And then after you were in that position to work full time, you're like, okay, look, I've got some free time. You'd be like, okay, when I do free time, I can spend it here. But because you already set that up and you were able to say no, that is a skill.
That got
do you know
me
what I mean?
there.
That got you there.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? If you weren't able to say no, and everyone
Yeah.
and you still kept picking up those calls every day, hey, let's go for a munch, hey, let's go kick back, and it's obviously it's never gonna be a munch in this area. It's you're out for a good 3 hours. There's a thing in this area. Like, I know you've all experienced this.
I don't know if I have.
No, it's like you leave the house,
Yeah.
you run into someone downstairs.
100%.
No, and then you go with that person. You do whatever you go on an errand, whatever. That's 2 hours.
Yeah.
Then you come back, and then someone else calls you. You're there. There's times I've left my house at 11 o'clock in the morning, and I've come back at like 12 o'clock at night, and I've been to like 15 different suburbs where we did 20 different errands.
Yeah.
And I like come home, I'm just exhausted. I'm like,
Yeah.
and you're just like, God damn, what did I do today?
Yeah.
It's like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, imagine if we had, and it's like, it's something, it's normal, it's common in this area, and every guy in this area experiences this.
Right.
Like, everyone knows that. Because we live so close to each other, it's such a condensed area. But like, let's just say, you say no to that first person.
Yeah.
Say, hey, listen, I'm busy, I'm going here. No to the next person, you know? And then you had that whole day where you could have done that you had that time to do your construction course, you had all that. And you didn't have that time where you're like doing 150 different errands. And
Yeah,
you focused on that
because
one thing.
the thing is, like, if you don't like where you are, don't keep standing there. You know what I mean? In order to get off something that is not right for you and you want something better, you gotta like the thing that is better more than actually the comfortable position you are in. Like, does that make sense? That
But it's just-
Sadhguru
it's
guy.
hard. Hey, it's hard at the start, but it's very hard.
Man,
at
it's
the
hard from the start, the
It's
middle,
always
the
gonna be hard.
end.
I
Like,
feel it.
it's always gonna be hard.
Like,
You know.
I don't know, man. I even experienced it. Like, you know me from young age. I've always been out, hang down for we kick with the boys, whatever. But like, I'd go to uni, then I'd go to work, then I'd go do this, I'd go do that, you know. And then there's always that, like, I'm always getting, like, in that day, in that space of time, I'm getting at least 15 calls from like 10 different people in the area telling me, hey, Rayvo, cuz come down, all this, hey, Rayvo, we got this on, hey, and I'm like, damn, you know, like, it's hard, bro. It's not easy saying, hey, look, you know, I'm booked out today, or hey, look, you know, it's like, imagine every time, because after a while you're like, damn, I haven't seen my boys in 2-3 weeks now.
Yeah.
I haven't seen my boys in 2 months now. Do you know what I mean? It becomes like that, you know. And I see a lot of my friends, even like this, like, let's just say, I'll give you an example, OT. Like, he'd go, you know, OT, cuz he grinds, cuz, mashallah, cuz. But you know, and he's one of my closest friends, cuz. You know us, bro. From young age, we're always everywhere together, like, you know what I mean? And then he started working. He'd be working 6-7 days a week, bro, and I won't see him. You know what I mean? But and like in his head, I know he's like, yo, I just want to kick it with the boys one time. You know, let's go for a feed. But in his head, he's like, nah, I gotta get this. I gotta get my, you know, finish my carpentry, finish this. And mashallah, cuz it got him to where he is now. You know what I mean? Where he's able to work and stuff. But his ability to say, look, you know what? I don't, you know, I'm gonna clock out. I'm gonna grind out this time. Come home, knock out, start again, repeat for that time. And now, like, you know what? We do spend time now. You know, even though he went through that patch, like, we go out, we hang out, we munch out whenever we can, whenever he's not working. But because he had that ability to say no, you know, and I feel like a lot of the viewers might be experiencing this, where like their friends are calling him out, or they, you know, they're telling him, come, let's go hang out, let's do this. And then they're just like doing that, and before you know it, 3-4 years goes past, and you're still standing at this where you want to be. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. if you find it hard to say no, and you think you're just saying yes and you're agreeing to whatever, you're technically saying no elsewhere. You know, and that's what I tell my siblings, man. Like, you can't say no to a certain cause that mom doesn't like, or that I won't be like happy with and comfortable with. You may not be saying no to that, but you're saying no to me as an older brother. You're saying no to your parents. You know, you're saying no to the people that are trying to care for you.
Yeah.
You know, and
But before we think, but how many siblings you got, cuz? Mashallah.
yeah.
This guy Hashim, you know, even my dad respects you. He even says sometimes, he's like,
Nah,
who's your friend? He's like, who's your friend that has maybe 20 brothers, sisters? That's how he says it. Who's your friend? And then he'd be like, thinking, bro, that's crazy, but like, it's hard, you know, obviously as an older sibling, but it's a blessing too, you know what I mean? Having your siblings around, and you know me, I know your siblings too.
It's that responsibility thing though, like it gave me that from a young age. You know, and anybody that's the eldest will tell you.
I feel like even my brother has that.
Your brother has that, 100%. Your brother has that. You know what I mean?
He's like
we developed
very like different to like even like
man.
You see it. I can see it in like older brothers. Even there's a few boys here that are older brothers. You see how they're different to everyone, how they think to everyone. It's like they have this like protective instinct in them. Yeah, you know what I mean?
They say, man, we might need to fact check this one as well. But I wouldn't really go too deep into it. They say a girl can become a lady, can become a woman, really on her own. But a boy needs to be taught how to be a man. You know, girls, what makes you from that young adolescent stage, the thing that matures you up is really conflict. It's pain. It's struggle. You know what I mean? If that makes sense. Girls are naturally biologically built with struggles, pregnancy or whatever it may be, or the monthly menstrual cycle, like whatever it may be. They are like, they biologically from young develop these pains, you know, these things that they must go through and still live life. You know what I mean? And they mature up real quick, you know. Whereas boys don't really have that. You know, we receive that conflict elsewhere, whether you're outside playing in the ballpark, you know what I mean, playing soccer with the boys, or in a punch and starts, or whatever it is, you know. And I noticed that a while back, and that's actually what got me into pushing, because I said, at the end of the day, if these projects do not work out, if uni doesn't work out, if the full-time job I get fired tomorrow, whatever the case is, at least I grew up. You know what I mean? I know I'm more of a man than I was yesterday through the conflict and pain that we go through. Yeah. There's a mad book called King, Warrior, Magician, Lover. I recommend that to all of you, man. Yeah. It's not just for guys. I think it's like girls, and everybody would, you know, learn a lot from it, by Robert Moore. And he talks about different archetypes, but that's another topic. However, for
generations, men have traits like gentleness and sensitivity, leaving them with the tools to deal with internalized anger and frustration. Unlike women who are encouraged to foster deep platonic intimacy from a young age.
Nah, that's more psychological. That's not the biological, Sean.
But like, regardless, it's on the ballpark. Like, regardless, did you understand, Sean? But you understood what I was trying to say, right?
I feel what you're saying. I know what you're saying. I dig you.
For example, like I say I use my grandma.
I dig you on that. Yeah, I know what you're saying.
I'd say my grandma's exactly what you said, man. My grandma was got married at 14 years old, man. You know what I mean? And she had 13 kids.
Damn.
And
who's this?
How I grandma had 13 kids, and her first child was a daughter. You know? And one thing I like for myself, inshallah, I'm happy with whatever, but I always say, like, I want my first kid. I always say I wanted it to be a boy, and I wanted it to be a girl, man. Cause straight up, bro, a girl will look after the house, bro. You know what I mean? Straight up, like she'll help the mom out and stuff. Like, it's really hard like I see really great examples of elder brothers, like them, like you, like Waleed, like my friend Hanad. You know what I mean? These are really great examples of big brothers too.
Yeah.
And we know we got other examples on the other side as well.
Yeah.
But like an older sister is like she's always like she's like a second mom in the house.
Yeah, they have this natural nurturing
Exactly,
ability.
Like, and the thing is too, they get it from a very young age. I'm talking about primary school age.
Yeah.
Whereas like when it comes for eldest boys, it hits usually like when after high school or like 23, 24, and then you start taking that role. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Girls is from jump.
Exactly. And inside the house, outside the house, wherever it may be, they have this like natural nurturing ability, and it's within them, and it really does come through like the pains that one is brought upon. When they can successfully come through that, like break through that barrier, you know what I mean, that brick wall, they mature up.
Yeah.
And that's what we need. See, we don't really have much of those things. You know what I mean? You tell one of the boys to start doing a full-time job, they may quit when it gets hard. You know what I mean? We're not really taught like these responsibilities, the priorities. You know what I mean?
Me, I think that's where we get this thing from.
So you said, one quick example, something that happened recently was like I say even for myself, like the first time they get a job, that first shift they do on time, maybe even early.
Yeah.
And then once they get there, once they realize it's relaxed, bashan, you know what I mean? Or it just becomes a matter of
I don't know.
It's coming late, and then you start coming late to your next shift, and like sometimes coming like 10 minutes later, half an hour, then rocking up your own time. It's like, and it's not being rude. It's just that you're not being taught that a sense of responsibility and ownership.
I feel like I feel like that's something we experience a lot, and I feel like especially in the African community, we experience this a lot. It's like with the African boys, you'd be like, yeah, they get a job and then they get content. You know what it is? We get content. Once we're content and we feel like, okay, this is safe for us we start pushing the boundaries. Do you know what I mean? And, like we start rocking up late to work. You'd see it like, but I don't know, like I experience it like, for example, my non-African friends and stuff. When they start their jobs, they're always on time, 10 minutes early. I feel like it's a trait they're taught from a young age. In our culture, what is that thing? We are the most fashionably late people. I feel like no other continent comes more fashionably late than Africans. We know how to rock up. Have you been to an African wedding? The wedding starts at 1 o'clock. I mean, let's just say 7 o'clock, 7 p.m. the wedding starts, and it finishes at 12. You have people rocking up. What time we used to rock up to weddings? The finish is at 9. I used to rock up 10:30. 10:30 I rock up. I'm leaving 11:30. You know what I mean? But I realized like as I got older, I'm like, rocking up late, being fashionably late, you know what it is? It's a sign of disrespect. And being content, it's a sign of disrespect. You hire me today, Hashim. I get a job. You tell me, come in at 7 o'clock. You're my homeboy. I should be coming in at 7 o'clock. I shouldn't be coming in at 8 o'clock just because you're my homeboy. Do you know what I mean? So with that, it's just that respect, having that respect factor, do you know? And that's something we need to get disciplined from young age. And being in environments that are always comforting, like for example, especially in Australia. Australia's a country, bro. You can be 18, you cannot work, you're on Centrelink, you're living your life. Do you know? You can have that $500, whatever. I can't remember how much they pay you now for how much they do, but you get content. Whereas let's just say if you're in a country like America, and you gotta struggle. But I remember when I was in New York, bro, I used to catch the subway. This subway right here, this number here, number 7. The number 7, we used to catch it. I used to see one guy, so I'd leave early in the morning. You know what time this guy? I'd leave to go when I used to go to do tourism stuff. I'd leave around 8 o'clock. Always leave around 8 o'clock in the morning. I'd get up fresh, 8 a.m. I'd wake up. I'd catch this, and I'd go all over New York. And I'd always see this one guy on the same carriage, 8 a.m. I'd go back to my hotel halfway, have a nap in the afternoon. I'd catch the sub again. I'd see the same guy. It's always catch. So like I'm going this way and that way. He's always on the carriage for some reason. And like he's got his work stuff, you know? And he'd get off at a certain stop. He'd always get off at a certain stop. Come back on, and then I jailed. I'm like, yo, this guy's going from job to job. Like it clicked because he was wearing different uniform. Like he'd wear different company. Do you know what I mean? And this guy's probably working 15 hours a day, 12-hour days, 12 to 14-hour days, because he knows in America you don't have that comfort. If you lose your job, you lose your house. Do you know what I mean? But in Australia, we have that comfort, and I feel like especially us first generations, we got that comfort. We're like, okay, yo, this is pretty easy, and then that's how we slack off. You know, we don't go through those troubles, as you were saying, coming back to what you're saying, that troubles of being, having to grind to grow. Do you know what I mean? Becoming a greater person, going through 12-hour, working hard, getting out of my comfort zone, and then coming back to where you are, you develop from that. You know what I mean? When you do come out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, it's very deep, man. It's very deep, and it's
crazy, how we went from saying no to this, but like it all comes from that. Like
honestly, wallahi, like it's troubling, man. Especially when you reach a spot where, I mean, you can never be too comfortable, but when you're counting your blessings and you're looking around, and it's like there's a lot of people that you want here as well, but they're just not there. And it's these simple qualities: being consistent, sleeping on time, and the ability to say no for your own self growth. You know what I mean? And all these things that they just do not practice. You know, and culturally, I think we help each other a lot. We, you know, in the house, everybody's getting, you know, like, you better do your chores. You gotta do what you gotta do, or else you're gonna face the consequences. So that is growth inside the house. But outside the house, that, like, we get so much help. I feel like we get too much help.
I've always been saying that.
In a way where it's like, I will take you to soccer training, I'll take you to work, and I'll bring you back. You know what I mean? Take your Centrelink or don't take your Centrelink, but it's like, I'll do the family shopping, I'll do the house shopping, I'll feed you. Don't pay rent. You know what I mean? Like most other ethnicities, they gotta pay rent from 18. You remember our friends? So, like, yeah.
Continuing on that, but we had a little break for which had to get a refresh. That topic got a bit deep, but as you were saying, you know, like for example, our friends, you know, like they had that responsibility and they were able to
from young age,
that comfort zone.
And we really get, like, this might be even surprising for a lot of people, but that's just the way I seen it. We get a bit too much love. But
what you were saying,
it's cold outside, so don't go out playing soccer.
Yeah,
you know.
But what you were saying was even the that monster. You know, while we took a little break, you were talking about, you wanted to say something about the monster, and that monster comes from stepping out of that comfort zone.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, there's some traditions where I don't know if it's the native Indians. Correct me if I'm wrong, but where they'd have to go into, like, I think it's from like the Amazon one.
I told you that.
You told me, yeah.
I told you that, and that's from that book, like King Warrior Magician Lover.
So they'd have to leave their tribe. So what happens is
King Warrior Magician Lover by Robert Moore.
They'd have to leave their tribe. Once they want you to become a man, you'd have to leave
at
your
the
tribe.
age of like 16, 15, because culturally it's different.
Yeah. So they leave the tribe, they go survive, have to survive in the Amazon forest for how long was it? So a month?
About a week.
About a week.
Yeah.
And they're not allowed to come back until they finish that week.
Yeah.
That's crazy. But because they stepped out of their comfort zone, they became monsters. Like, you know what I mean? Like they had that ability, that survival instinct. And it's crazy, like you'd hear like documentaries and stuff of people like stranded, or the way they survive, like crazy things that are just like crazy. Like even there's one of like Navy SEALs, they're doing a mission, they lose their team, they're in Afghanistan. I forgot his name. He's one of the Navy SEALs. Or there's someone's in they fell off the boat or something like that. There was a boat accident, and you just find ways to survive. And imagine,
because you only have two options.
Yeah,
you either sit down and continue suffering for the rest of the time being that you have, or you do something about it.
Find a way to survive.
So you need to pick yourself up. See, with the Amazon story, if that kid comes back, that little boy comes back at the end of the week, their big reward was he would get to pick the most prettiest girl around his age that he can get married to, and she'd want to get married to him because he passed like such a crazy track. He's a warrior now. You know what I mean? If he doesn't come back, they tell mythical stories of him, how he used to be, or the track he probably took, and just like amazing stories. If the boy never went, then they won't see him to be a man.
Yeah.
You know.
But even on that, even here, let's just say in the modern world, applying that to the modern world, you know, that ability to like step out of your comfort zone, that ability to, you know, work the extra hour, run the extra mile, stay up that extra night studying, whatever you do, you know, it's hard.
Yeah.
I understand that. Even me, I go through it, but I have those
Yeah.
times when I'm studying and I'm just like, bro, this is so pointless. Why am I doing this?
Yeah.
I just want to kick back and just watch YouTube or watch a show on Netflix. Do you know what I mean? But like, yeah, and I'm comfortable. But the thing is, I'm never gonna grow. Like watching that show on Netflix is not gonna grow me. Maybe a documentary, but it's gonna grow you to an extent until you apply it. Do you know what I mean? And even having that ability, having that ability to say, coming back to it, we've been on this topic for a while, but just having that ability to say no at that time, to being content, being, you know, saying no to staying at where you want to be, you know. And I feel like even me, I'm trying to work on it, you know, as a person, and I'm going to keep working on it until the day I die. And I feel the same for you, from what I understand. But having that monster mentality, do you know what I mean? Me, I don't know, bro. Like, you know who says, like, I don't know how he does, but like Future, when he has this thing, beast mode, monster, like, you know, when he makes those things, like, like with me, even like Coding Crazy, you know, Coding Crazy, the song, Future, that's my G up song. If I'm ever like, yo, I'm like, I need to get G'd up, Coding Crazy, chuck it on.
It's the only guy I know that finds deep meaning in Ghana and
no, like Kaz, you know me, Kaz. You know me, I was always into that guy.
Everybody uses somebody, man.
No, like, obviously I don't use it for life, but like when I'm like, yo, I'm in that zone, I'll chuck on Coding Crazy. It's like and the thing is, it's like 6 minutes. But yo, like that, it just brings like a monster out of me. I don't know why. Like,
you know, for me, it's actually real life people. It's either family. Thank God, like I've been surrounded with a lot of people that don't even know of each other, not even in the same like type of environment or age group. That if I'm feeling down or anything, I know the people that actually can uplift me because they find it easy. You know what I mean? I know if I want to work out, like, so I like, thank God, like I've been surrounded by the right people. So some people use music, I tend to use other people, and what it does is those other people grow in their strengths as well.
You know, for sure,
with that monstrous quality. Sorry, we both keep going back on it, but it's like you need if someone is coming to maybe terrorize your whole household, being a monster in a very negative way, the actions you will do to protect yourself, all right, it's not angelic. It's monstrous type qualities. Fighting, punching someone, you know what I mean, hurting someone, but for the greater good, to protect yourself. So in life, you don't want to be naive and sit in a corner. You need to actually get up and sometimes tell yourself, nah, I can't be doing this, I need to do that. You know what I mean? No, I'm not gonna let you throw me down to life and its suffering and all the chaoticness that's going on. I'm gonna come above it. That's that monster quality, and that's the ability to say no. I'm talking
definitely,
about.
bro. And I feel like, you know, when you do have that, what we would say, monster mentality, you know, having that skill of saying no, you know, you develop and you become a greater person. So I feel like we've dived deep into that monster and being able to say no, and making you a better person. Do you know what I mean? Whether it is in your personal life, your work life, having that skill of saying no, but not being that person that just declines everything and becomes selfish. It's just saying no to something that will harm you, saying no to something that like will not benefit you. Like, and obviously, you know, there's times you gotta kick back. You know, take time, say yes. You know, hang out with friends, go out, whatever you want to do, slack off. But just that ability to say no when you feel like, you know, I want to grow, that is a skill of its own. But I feel like the last thing we got to touch on, I feel like is, you know, we spoke about, you know, financial freedom. We've spoken about ability to say no, being useful in life and becoming that monster. What's your idea, Hashim? Of, you know, what's your legacy? What do you want your legacy to be? I feel like
legacy is my purpose.
And what do you want to be? What do you want to be remembered as? What do you want your legacy to be? What do you want to be remembered as?
I want to have good character, man. I want to have the best of characters to the best of my abilities. The legacy I want to leave behind is I want to be remembered. The thing is, when I pass away, okay, if people can take some things, if they're talking about one aspect in their life, or if they need a hand with anything, I'm praying that they can take some qualities that they probably learned from me, and it could probably help them. You know what I mean? Heaps of children, you know, and
trying to have 10 like your fams.
I don't know, man. I don't know, but
If it can happen, it can happen.
my type of legacy, because it's my greatest purpose, is I just want to die trying, man. You know what I mean? And leave everything to the end.
Yeah.
You know, like, not leave everything to last minute or anything, but I mean, like, just let it out on the table. Try my best non-stop. You know what I mean? Until we get to sleep forever or anything. You spoke about death on the other
one of the
podcast,
air
like,
raids.
yeah, that's my idea of leaving a legacy, man. You know? Did I say it right?
Yeah, nah.
What is a legacy? What does legacy mean?
How you remembered, who you remembered as.
Yeah.
And I feel like the thing is, people think, the thing is, life is so occupying. You get so occupied in life sometimes that you just forget, like,
Your purpose.
this is the stuff you worked for all your years. Like, imagine this, you worked 40, 50 years, 80 years of your life, and then you die, and then everything you brought onto this world is gone. Like, if you think about it, there's 7 billion people in this world.
The problem is when you show no value for anybody, and not even really yourself. Like, that's my biggest paranoia, man. You know what I mean? Again, like, I want to be as useful as I can be. And we have a limited time because we're mortal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So why not keep trying? Try hard. And if a smile can change a whole person's day, and you have years and years to probably live, you know,
Yeah.
how much
feel
more
like
good can you do?
Even like, you just got to be good in character and stuff, a legacy. And people remember, man. People remember the good things you do for them. I remember someone DM'd me on Facebook. On Instagram. And they replied to the story of Talking Trophies. And they just, like, they forwarded it to me. They're like, hey, love what you're doing. And then they're like, and they're like, I love how you've been so real even since high school, you know. And then I'm like, nah, you're cool too. You know how it is me. I'm like, I don't like take compliments like that. I just like telling them, it's not all me, it's all you. And then they're like, nah, man, you used to kick in stuff with me and stuff, like, you were always cool with me, and you always kept communication with me over the years. Appreciate that. But like, when I heard him say that, I didn't realize, like, for me it's not that deep, but like, when he said that to me, I'm like, yo, being that person, even for example, giving them a smile, they'll remember you, man. 30, 40 years will remember you. Someone I haven't spoken to in, like, this guy, I haven't spoken to him like 3 years. The last time I probably messaged him, I'm looking at the messages. But just him seeing me, doing good, and because of, like doing, like, talking trophies, occupying myself, he's saying, like, hey, man, I appreciated who you were. And
Exactly.
like, he's gonna remember me as that person until whenever, like, for example, he passes. And if I see him in the streets, they're gonna be able to dab each other up and show love. And that's gonna be like, that might be a part of my legacy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even, like, for example, when you do die, let's just say you do build wells or you do build schools or orphanage. No one's gonna remember you for, like, let's just say you have a house. Once your house is sold, the house is sold. It's under someone's name. But you just say you built an orphanage, you built a well.
Dreams.
What do they say? They'll tell you this. Like, you're gonna have people that every person that drinks from that well is gonna, like, say, I'm thankful for this person, and they make praise to you or whatever, and that's your legacy. You know what I mean? Like, with me, that's what I believe legacy is. Like, leaving something in the earth, whether it's planting a tree or giving, building something overseas, back home. Even helping someone back home. That's my idea of legacy, because I saw something on TikTok. It's crazy. It was about legacy, and it's like, the world is littered with the world is littered with buildings that once empires. So there's a lot of, like, fossils and all this. These were once empires that thought they were gonna live for eternity.
Yeah.
For eternity, they thought they were gonna live, and it's now just dust. We go there, we take a couple pictures, we didn't even know who's there.
Yeah.
Who lived there? Do you know?
It is our responsibility to fulfill the rights of those that we owe, man. And vice versa. So, I hope everybody, like, comes up with a really good vision in life. and from 7-year projects to 10-year projects, whatever it is, dumb it down slowly, incrementally, and then hopefully you start to see yourself micromanaging, and every day becomes like you become excited for it.
And you're just building towards every day, even though you feel like you're in the same spot, you're building towards something.
And keep good people around you, man, and keep trying.
I reckon, bro, we should wrap it up at that.
100%.
That was crazy. Finally we got Hashim on podcast, the perfectionist. It's been a while, we've been trying to get this guy on, and he's one of the guys from the area that just, I've always, like, since young age, we've always had discussions on different topics, and, I felt, and like Hashim's always had that open mind to, I'd say, like, understand the perspective of others, and I feel like that's a trait we both share in a way. So, bro, once again, thanks, Kaz, for jumping on, and I'll put his socials on the
You're welcome, brother.
video. Make sure you guys hit him up if you do have any suggestions or books you want him to read, or you want him to forward you any books, Hashim's happy to do that, I'm assuming. Nah. Hashim trying to get married or what?
Chill.
I'm joking.
Let's wrap it up.
But anyways, hey, make sure to like, subscribe, and comment what you think, and share this video around. Talking Trophies, we're providing consistent content, and we're open to, if you have any ideas and you want to jump on and talk about different topics, we're happy to do that. We'll sign out with Stay Humble, Faith. Lonely nights, I'm with the habit of